I watched an interview with Matt Gaetz, and he said something that I absolutely agree with. I think he's absolutely right, and that's rare enough when we're talking about Trumplafucks. But what he said was, if the government is shut down on October 1st, the blame should fall directly on Kevin McCarthy. And I agree with him. If you think about it, why would he be at fault? Well, it's because Kevin McCarthy is a low-down, dirty deal breaker. You remember when he wanted to become Speaker of the House. He ended up having to sell his soul to the Freedom Caucus, to MAGA. He told them anything they wanted to hear and said, "I will fight for you." But then some months later, we had another crisis. It was the debt ceiling. It needed to be raised. Normally, that's an automatic thing, but of course, MAGA made it a problem. So now Kevin McCarthy was in a bad situation because if they didn't raise the debt ceiling, the Republicans would get the blame and it would cause disastrous situations in this country. So he went to Joe Biden and cut another deal. They agreed to a lot of things. They ended up getting the debt ceiling raised. All was saved. Now, had Kevin stuck to the deal he did with Joe Biden, there would be no imminent shutdown. We already figured that out. But instead of sticking with that deal, now he's got MAGA and the Republicans coming up with other deals. They broke the deal with the President of the United States. Now, Kevin is still not going the way of MAGA. He's not giving them exactly what they want. So he broke the deal with MAGA. And MAGA is threatening to vacate his position, which won't work ultimately. But Kevin McCarthy has a lot of pressure hanging over his head. You can see it in his face right now. He gets a little fucking weepy. And this is what happens when you sell your soul. You sell your soul to an evil entity, and they expect you to come through. And when you don't, they're going to hold your feet over the fire. But when you cut a deal with the president and you don't follow up with that, you don't stick to the deal, then we have a potential government shutdown. We have a middleman trying to negotiate between the evil and the good, Biden and MAGA. And he just told both sides what they wanted to hear. Now that's well and good for the moment. You might get what you want at the moment, but in the end, it's a fucking disaster. And that's what's going on now. We're looking at a potential disaster with the government shutdown. It's not as bad as the debt ceiling, but it's bad enough. It's going to cost a lot of people a lot of money. A lot of people that can't afford to lose that money. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all goes down. If Kevin McCarthy had been doing his job, he would have tried to balance things out so both sides would be happy. That's the job of the Speaker of the House, but he couldn't do it. He didn't do it. He only was worried about getting this position, and he would tell anybody anything. So Matt Gaetz is right. If we get a government shutdown, it is mostly Kevin McCarthy's fault because he's a weak-ass, pussy-ass bitch.